You wouldn't forget. It's cold on the mountain tonight. Yes, it's cold on the mountain tonight. And we need someone to save us. We need someone who's ready for a fight. Onward through the blizzard they do ride. Onward through the blizzard they do ride. With bread and butter and faithful hounds beside. The faithful folks of 10 towns they defend, and the rotten folks of 10 towns they offend. With flaming sword and staff and dart they'll pierce the veil, strike at the heart of the rill. My forces, they do not know they are heard. My forces, they do not know they are watched. All the lonesome cry of forgotten beasts will save us all or be a feast for winter. Okay. Yeah, that's a good starting place. Rough draft, Everybody's a Mimic theme song, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Take one.
Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to Everybody's a Mimic. We are an actual play 5th edition webcast playing Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden. This is session 21, and we are getting underway. We have all 4 players with ourselves. To start off introductions, my name is Corey. I am your dungeon master. Next up on the block, we have Carson.
Playing deeply automated.
And then we have we have Blake after that.
I play Del Nadre Mirakas.
Rachel.
I play Rosemary Bonecrusher.
And last but not least, Ben.
I play Levi Corvallis.
And we are Everybody's a Mimic. So if you happen to have been following along last session, the players had undergone their trials at the Wormdune Crag Goliath settlement and gained the trust and honor of Ogilai and the rest of the Wormdune Crags. Their goal now, as they've traveled even higher into the peaks, across the mountains of the spine of the world, to get to the Sky Tower Shelter Goliath settlement, home to Arn and the more antisocial, withdrawn, and secluded and secretive Goliaths of Icewind Dale. At the end of the last session, Arn greeted them quite early in the morning, the torches lit, lighting up the large wall and the 5 Goliath warriors who stand ready just beyond it. Arn had greeted the players and let them know that he will be out to speak to him again at dawnbreak, which is, by our calculations, about 4 hours away. Bite, being the outdoorsman that he is, had already begun to set up a tent and get a fire going to cook a meal, just provide heat. What's your goal there with your firestone, Bite?
It would probably, I mean, since it is in a place of protection, he would probably tailor it to provide as much warmth as possible without like melting too much snow and causing like slush and wet sleeping bags and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got I think I said he has like a big flat slate stone
Yes.
that he carries as like the back plate to his backpack that he would lay out and do the fire on which that's nice because it kind of radiates the heat a little bit. Yeah, sorry, my dog is excitedly humping his bed because he pooped. That's
Nice.
just what he does with
He's
the
got
world.
the post poop zoomies.
Yeah, post poop
Or
zooms.
perhaps he has the post
Um,
piece.
oh. But yeah, so he'd probably set it up. It's definitely probably a bigger fire than has been seen camping with him elsewhere. Because he's not like hiding from anything.
Right. Okay. All right. So the wind is and the cold is biting at the edges of the tent flap, but you are comfortably warm within your tent as Vite and Levi, Rosemary, and Del Nadria all sit around and wait around for the next 4 hours. Is there anything you'll want to say to each other to prepare yourselves for what's coming ahead?
Just so you are all aware, the welcome will not be quite as warm as it was with the Quantum Crag Inn. These Sky Tower folks are a bit more. I don't have a polite word for it, but they are private. They keep to themselves. There's a bit more scarcity here, so there is a bit more aggressive competition than playful competition compared to what you see further down the mountains.
Yeah, I kind of figured a little bit when they didn't open up the door to let us sleep inside the town, but yeah, it's interesting. You said they're really big on these are like they're really big on the griffins, right?
Yes, these are the Griffin Riders. It's extremely helpful for them in these heights to have a aerial hunter to join them. They are truly accomplished hunters with that. They'll pick off goats. Yeah, mostly goats. Large birds. They'll take down an eagle. They eat a lot of eagles around here. It's kind of weird. There's like one chicken coop in Wormdoob. There's no chicken coop here in Sky Tower. It's all eagle meat.
I have to ask. We're not going to have to fly on them, are we? I'm very much more of a boots on the ground type of person.
Narrow my eyes in suspicion at that.
I don't think they will let you try and ride them. I did briefly commandeer one. He doesn't know the word commandeer. I did briefly take one for a spin. Fun animal, bumpy ride, but I was not supposed to. And being around me, I doubt the keeper will let you ride one.
Not that I wanted to ride one. I just wanted to make sure because uh, I was wanting to make sure that there isn't going to be another test. Like I've had enough tests. I think
I feel like there's always
Beta,
going
who
to be another test.
I don't think Beta can fathom the idea of someone not being excited by the idea of riding a griffin. So he just kind of winks knowingly at Levi. Like,
Do these guys have like a tunnel
Sure.
that everyone has to crawl through?
That's a good question. Is there another tunnel that I need to be ready for?
There's less in general, but they don't have. They have a different trial for their coming of age, so that should not be a tunnel issue.
Bitty,
There's no
Okay.
tunnels.
Bitte, roll. Actually, no, you know this. There actually are some tunnels. They in the
Yeah,
Sky
but
Tower
there's not
itself.
like a trial tunnel.
There is no trial tunnels, but there are tunnels.
Yeah, he said less tunnels because I couldn't imagine that they wouldn't build any tunnels. So I was like, there's less tunnels.
Yes.
I guess my main question is, do I once again have to prove that I'm a Goliath?
I don't know. Ordinarily, I would say probably not, but we are trying to get them to set aside some animosities. So there may be some sort of showing of competence or good faith or what have you, but I do not know what form that would take. I have not spent quite enough time for that.
They've
They've
made
never
you like
allowed
crawl
me
through
to
any.
take such a trial.
Yeah.
They've never offered me a place amongst them.
Rude.
They've, to the best of my knowledge, they have only accepted one Worm Doom settler, but that was years ago.
Who was that?
Don't know his name. It's just a vague story they tell. We don't know if he was. We don't think he was killed.
Huh.
I've never seen or met him.
I am going to be hopeful and say that they probably adopted him.
Probably. I mean, he never came down the mountain, and despite
ate him.
various degrees of animosity, just plain murdering a traveler and hiding. That's a big aspect of this, is to have a fight turn deadly is one thing. To have a hunting dispute turn violent is not the most uncommon, but to have killed someone from the other clan and hidden all evidence of it and kept it secret, that would have been that's just not done. That would be beyond the bounds of decency.
Are there any tasks that you guys want to work on for the next 4 hours?
I imagine we're probably tired.
Yeah.
At least Rosemary's taking a nap.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, is it
what
why
state were we
4
in
hours?
when we
Are we not
entered?
just taking a long rest?
Well, the dawn will be in. I mean, I'm just putting dawn at like 6 a.m.
I see.
And
I think we talked about like pushing through like multiple hours to get there in one day, so I imagine probably some rest is warranted.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, because if you did take a full 8 hours, you could awake at 10 a.m. or so and begin then.
And then they're waiting on us, taking the power back.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a nice power move, considering like their nonsense with us. Like to A, get a good full rest, and B, get some power back.
Okay, all right. So you're taking a long rest there.
Before we go to sleep, probably like just while we've been talking and stuff, I'm working on the sketch that I started after we beat up that Yeti. Fleshing it out.
Like a commemoration.
Yeah, like I had just done like a quick shape of the landscape and gotten some like figures down. So now I'm fleshing things out and drawing in finer details.
Is Del Nadre like artistically talented?
Yeah.
I think Levi would like sort of sit in a position where he could see the sketch develop and just sort of like busy himself doing other stuff and just sort of look from an angle and just like in awe watching Del create this sketch, because Levi is the least artistic person you'll ever meet. I don't know if you remember when they made like seashell art and music in Goodmead,
and the doll in Wormdoon Crag,
and the doll in Wormdoon Crag. Yeah, exactly. It's not his forte. So he's just like, there are seconds where he's just like mesmerized watching the lines be turn into cool stuff on the page while he's like sharpening his weapons.
What a way to describe
right.
art.
There's like a point where Dell's just kind of like sketching away and just realizes he's being watched and slowly turns towards Levi. And then he's gonna say, "Wait, hold on. Hold that expression right there. That's perfect." He's gonna turn and start sketching.
Okay, wait.
Sketch him like one of your Waterdeep girls.
Does Dell change change to a new paper and start drawing Levi?
No.
Or he just turns?
No.
It's part of the
right there.
now.
That's the facial expression I needed. And probably by the end of this session, there's enough of like a general outline to be able to tell what's going on here. So what I'm doing is like I've got like a 2-page spread in the journal of the landscape. Over like on the left side, there's the Yeti. It's like rearing back in pain. You can see an arrow protruding out of its eye socket. And down at the bottom right of the page, it's kind of like the camera's like right over Dell's shoulder right after he's released the arrow. Bite is up kind of in the Yeti's face, roaring at it. He's big power pose. Rosemary looks she kind of looks busted, like all battle wounds, and hair is a mess, but she's got like fire flinging out of her hands. And then right in the foreground, spread across the 2 pages, Levi is like laid out on the ground with his hand like back over his forehead. And I'm using his shocked and interested face to kind of draw Levi in like an kind of position.
And he can't
Rosemary
see this.
Rosemary looks over and she's like, "Oh, it busted up my nose. Don't forget that."
I got you. No, you'd definitely be able to tell, like obviously, like I would turn so you can't see anything while I'm doing this sketch. And then I'd turn back towards the fire to get the light, and you'd probably be able to tell at that point kind of what's going on here.
And while he's doing that, Beta will, because I never actually got around to saying I gave it to Ogalai like I was originally planning, but Beta will be doing some finishing touches on the moose antler great axe that he's had previously mostly made, and he's going to add like some griffin imagery on the side just a little bit. He's going to like scrimshaw a griffin as like an additional entreaty. for
Very
them.
nice. Very nice. Levi, Rosemary, do y'all have anything you'd like to kind of accomplish during this long rest before we get to the end of the long rest, I guess?
Not anything in particular. I think Levi just sort of busies himself, with
Rose-
sharpening his weapons. He watches Dell for a bit, and then when he sees the sketch afterwards, I think he sort of just grumbles to himself and looks goes to sit away from it with his back to Dell, just because he knows that there's no point in getting mad right now. And he just sort of busies himself with other stuff, and just sort of looks out at the landscape, because I imagine it looks really pretty at night. Just like
You're
under the light of the moon.
you're above the clouds, so you're just looking out
Yeah.
onto clouds.
Actually, that's also super pretty. So
Yeah.
just like under the moonlight. So yeah, I think he just sort of allows himself to watch the clouds as they sort of move and stuff. He just has a solid little rest, and he sleeps in shifts depending on what we're doing lookout wise.
All right.
Rosemary is like about to go to sleep, and then she rolls over and she's like, "Bitte, do these guys like goats as much?"
A bit more and a bit less. It is more of a food stuff here than it is quite to the degree in Wormdu, but they still value it for obviously for the meat and for goat ball. So it's not as reverent, I suppose, because they eat them so often. But it is still very, very, very valued.
Okay,
Very valued. Okay.
cool.
Yeah, it's not like they don't share the everything is goats all the way down view of the goat,
Okay.
but they still respect the goat as food. It definitely is a heavy part of their diet here. But they could attest to that the chef really enjoys using goat in almost all of their stew and meals. All right, so you are all kind of you've gotten some rest. You've worked on your various crafts and hobbies, and it is
Last thing.
okay. Go on.
At one point, probably in the middle of the night, while Levi's like taking one of his rests, Dell's gonna get up or not one of his rests, one of his watches. Dell's gonna get up and, hey, psst, Levi.
Levi will like turn slightly and just like make eye contact out of the corner of his eye and just like raise his eyebrows.
Hey, so I've been thinking.
That's a
You remember
dangerous
that? You
task.
remember that crystal you found in Tourmaline?
Perhaps. Yes.
Do you think
What
maybe I
about
should take a look at that at some point?
gentle?
Hmm. Maybe.
Like I feel like I've been making strides with this whole Kalishtar thing, and I don't know. I feel like I'm in a much better place than I've been for stuff like weird crystals. And, like last week, I kind of died. And that sort of reduced my whole fear and inhibition of weird rocks and stuff. I kind of want to go for
And
it.
he just sort of stops and nods for a second, and he says, "Are you asking me to touch the rock?"
I mean, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it.
He says, "Here's the thing, Dell, is if you want to experiment with the rock, I think it's best if I touch it, considering that I have 2 weeks to live."
Yeah, go for it. Let's do it.
And I think they sort of like huddle next to each other, and he reaches in his bag and pulls out the illithid skull that he has wrapped in several layers of cloth. And he like unwraps it slowly, and then the last little cloth he slides off the skull with a dagger. And will you re-describe it for us, Corey, as it shines under the moonlight?
Yeah, give me one moment for that.
Not expecting this sort of bullshit.
I'm over here eating like a Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie, and y'all are typing this magical item. I'm like, oh, okay.
Furiously flipping back like 3 chapters in the book. God damn it.
Like 100%. And then I was like, okay,
Oh
wait.
god, oh god.
It must be
I thought they
here
were just going to describe crafts.
Like I'm fairly certain they have a handout for it, so that for each of you guys, but I cannot.
I have a handout.
We got
for
Copper's
the
Letter, we got Summer
and
Star, and we got Verbeeg Longstrader.
Like it is a okay, give me like one moment.
I mean, you might not have given it to us because we haven't done any kind of identification. Like if it's an actual item, we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So
Do we even really know it's an illithid skull?
Yes.
Like in character?
Yeah, I think
someone did some kind of.
I think I listened back to that episode because I wasn't there for it, and one of y'all, I think it was actually Rosemary, identified it as a illithid skull.
Yeah, I rolled like a good like nature check. I'm remembering this now.
Yeah.
All right. No
Also,
worries.
one of y'all might have an answer to this. I got one of the Dos Equis, like little tiny kegs.
Ooh.
But it's all foam, and I don't know why. When it comes out, it's all foam.
Did it move a lot? Have you like iced it down?
I haven't iced it down, but it got shaken around a bit when I was in transit.
Because I know from when the one time that I bought a keg, we like it took a lot of like pouring out of just foam beer before it finally settled.
Yeah, my advice would be to let it settle.
I'm not gonna waste foam. You just wait on it, and it turns into regular beer.
Right? Yeah. But it would be better, I think, if you wait. I mean, if you wanted to continue to drink it now, you can definitely still drink the foam.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have found the crystal. Let us describe it. So, the crystal shard is lodged inside the fossilized mind flayer skull. It is a psi crystal. And I'm looking here in the magical items, and there is no such thing as a psi crystal. So
That's weird.
don't have a little handout we can put on the...
Is it like a special thing in Icewind Dale? I can grab my book and look it up.
it. Okay, let's see if I can show. It is just a kind of like a quartz-like crystal. It's deep purple. Almost like it's the size, like if the brain of the Ithlid had shrunk and then crystallized outwards. That's kind of, it's not smooth like the crystal skull.
Let's see if I can do this. Haha!
Exactly. Yes. I wanted to share what I have here, but it would then share all of the notes because they're not in.
Well, then I'll pretend I'm not looking at all the notes.
Yeah.
I mean, could you take like a little screenshot of it and post it?
I mean, the second you guys start to like,
Okay.
touch.
As soon as we mess with it, it's probably gonna.
What Blake posted is the correct image. So that is what I would have done.
Okay. I think Levi's gonna look at Dell and then slowly touch the dagger to the crystal first. Not like point first, but like flat side down.
Nothing. Touch it.
You want me to touch it?
Do it.
There's no reaction from the side crystal from touching it with the dagger. Now,
Jack Nicholson nod.
how
Okay,
early do you want to do this?
What do you mean?
Like, do you want this conversation to happen early enough in the long rest that an attunement is possible?
Attunement.
He has just been sort of carrying it around in his pack.
Right. But you haven't really touched it.
Okay, so Levi's gonna put the dagger down, and he's going to like slowly extend a finger, and like his eyes open really wide, and he looks really closely at the crystal, and he slowly lowers and then pokes it and lifts his finger away from it really quickly.
As soon as he touches it, Dell's gonna fall back and start flopping around like he's having a seizure.
Oh my god.
Okay, wait. Will you do me a favor and roll either performance or deception, and I'll roll insight to see if Levi believes it?
I definitely think it should be a performance. Oh, it's a well done performance. Like the instant your finger touched this, he like starts off like kind of like frozen, and then just full on goes into the flopping. Let's see.
Oh my god.
And Levi just turns around and says, No, Del, no! Okay, God, I killed him! Wait!
I think that wakes up Rosemary, who just starts like yelling.
Yeah, Beta's axe in hand at that.
It's like, what's happening? What's happening?
I touched the skull crystal, and now Del is dying!
Like immediately the convulsions just turn to laughter.
Oh my god.
Just rolling back and forth. No, I'm fine. Do it again. Touch it. Did you feel anything?
Levi
What are you guys touching?
Levi kicks Del Nadre in the stomach.
So
Beta
go on.
Beta rolls back over and says, "This is as fine a time as any for exploration, but do try and keep it down."
And Levi glares at Del Nadre and then just puts his hand on the crystal.
You hear a faint beep. Like just this beep, beep,
Beep.
It's yeah. Can you hear the beep? I tried to mimic, but it might have been a bit too low. Did you hear
Yeah,
it?
No,
no,
I heard you do a
Alright.
beep. I'm just confused at the term beep.
Yeah. So you hear like it's a little blip on a radar, perhaps. It takes about if you hold your hand on there for a little bit, waiting for the next blip. Takes about 30 seconds or so. And you can hear some static. You don't know for sure, but you can vaguely make out something else in the static. Maybe it's more static, maybe it's words, maybe it's more beeps and blips and honks. There's something there.
Did it scramble your brains? Are you a vegetable now?
Levi just blinks a couple times and then goes, "Good."
Oh no. Oh no. He's stupider now.
Rosemary's just watching this and she just narrows her eyes.
And Levi sits down cross-legged and just stares at the crystal. And he keeps his hand on the crystal and just stares at it.
Hey, buddy.
What is
Look,
your
I understand fixation with rocks and crystals and things. But how you feeling?
and Levi? How
Hey, shh! It's beeping.
Beeping.
It's trying to communicate with me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it in a pattern, or is it just beep?
It beeped again.
With
Can
this much,
I touch it?
with this much interaction with the side crystal,
No, don't touch it. It could be cursed.
the crystal has begun to glow like a bright purple around you with a dim light, kind of like a dim haze almost outside. So 5 feet of bright light and 5 feet of like a dim hazy blue.
Levi looks at the light and he says, "See, it's trying to teach me something."
While Levi looks at the light, I want to poke the crystal.
As you touch
Hey. Don't touch it. It could be cursed.
Too late.
You're literally touching it right now.
Well, I'm gonna die. It's different.
Stop talking like that.
Delnadre, you hear the same thing that Levi is hearing. A little blip, about 30 seconds of static and white noise before you hear another blip. You also have this vague feeling that
Go to bed.
there's something else there.
Go to bed.
You could hear something just beyond the static, but nothing is coming out at this time.
It feels like it's less of a beep and more of a blip.
Why are you being
Like,
so
I don't know where you're
particular
getting.
about this?
Well, I don't know where you're getting beep from this. It's very blip. It's different. Different sounds mean different things, probably.
Probably.
And Levi just nods for a second. He says, "I have the strongest urge to throw you off of this thing. Like,
Do you think that's
right now."
touching the cursed object related, or just
No,
normal?
he's just infuriating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
that's
just kind of standard.
it's normal. So it's not completely erasing his personality. That's great.
It's good. That is good. Levi, how long do you want to just sit here with this until you can hear the message? If there is one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's his plan.
Okay.
Is he's gonna decode the message so that if something is wrong with it, it happens to him, and when he dies, nobody has to deal with it.
All right. Well, securing information in a body that might die. Excellent choice.
Exactly, and then he can relay the information and then die.
True.
I've learned so much. Head explodes.
All right. Well, you spend the time and you attune to the psi crystal. So I will show this to players now. There you go. Can y'all see it?
Wow.
Well,
Look at all this information I'm learning for the first time.
And you can see the information on the outside on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through it right now.
Excellent. Okay, so you have telepathy for 30 feet as long as you are attuned to it.
Wait, what's your intelligence score?
That's a good question.
It's a 10.
I think it's over. I'm pretty sure it's over 3.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
I was just curious if it was 12, because then you get double the telepathy.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
All right. And you begin to you're finally after the time you take to attune to it, you start to hear a little bit more, some kind of ancient language almost coming through, jumbled up. First a couple words, then a whole sentence, and finally you're able to. It just clicks, even though it was in a different language. You hear it, and it's just the words.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, you serve my father in the Clone Wars. You're our only hope.
No, it actually says. That was good though. If I had come better prepared, that would have been what it had said. So the message says, "Nautilus down. Emergency protocols enabled. Crew safe. Vessel imperiled. Psi crystal needed. Repeat. Psi crystal needed.
Hold on, I
Come
should be writing this down.
at once.
Uh,
I was about to. I considered making the same joke. I love it. Okay, hold on.
Jesus.
I'm writing it in the chat. So
Some dying civilization's last cry for help. Y'all are fucking memeing.
You're typing it in the chat? Alright, I'm
Yeah.
gonna copy it into my.
it's just like the real world.
It's funny because it's true.
all right, there. That should be your. All right, so now, Levi, you hear that it takes you get the blip, then there's some more beeps, then there's a honk, then the message happens, then there's a honk, then there's some beeps, then there's a blip, and then it repeats. Letting go of the crystal does not stop it from repeating.
In my head?
Yes,
So that's just in his head forever now?
it is in his head for the time being.
I think he would stop and he'd hold the crystal and he'd stare at it and he'd be like I think he would at first talk to the crystal and he would say, "Where do I need to go? Where do you go, crystal? Where do you need to go? Where do you go?"
Where is that?
Where do you go?
There is no response from this crystal.
And then
as you shake it and shout your demands.
Yeah, exactly. And then he stops and he thinks the response and he says in his head, he's like, "Where is this? What? First of all, what is a nautiloid? And second of all, where is the nautiloid?"
I need you to also roll me a 1d100.
Oh, nice.
Peter, who is mostly asleep, and last thought this was a sexual thing, is like, if you don't know where it goes, you shouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
Levi completely ignores him, is not paying attention.
Okay,
God.
so all right, so the psi crystal has been wearing down on your mind. Even just the task of attuning to this crystal was pretty exhausting, mentally speaking, as you had to basically just listen to white noise and this slowly alien language unravel within your brain, and it has caused you to gain a form of madness. Now, you have while you are attuned to, or for the time being, you have a form of indefinite madness based on your roll of 18. And I think with your your relationship with Delaji, this is going to be a very fun one. Your madness flaw is I keep whatever I find.
Okay. Is there like a madness benefit?
There's no madness benefit.
Okay, you never know.
Your benefit is that you have telepathy.
Oh, true. Wait, can he use it on accident?
100%. I don't think you quite. I don't think. Did it say if it can only be at one character? Can you do like an area effect telepathy? Do you just start speaking in the minds of people around you?
See telepathy for rules on how this telepathy works.
It's
Is it a
Google
spell?
telepathy
like a spell
5e.
telepathy?
Let's see. If you click on it in the
I'm googling. I'm
in the
googling
thing, it shows
telepathy. Oh, it wasn't where I clicked on it twice. It didn't work. Telepathy.
The
D&D
Wikidot
5.
servers have been hit by hackers.
it there.
You create a telepathic link between yourself and a willing creature with which you are familiar. The creature can be anywhere on the same plane of existence as you. The spell ends if you or the target are no longer on the same plane.
Okay. So
Until
you
the spell
can,
ends, you and the target can instantly share words, images, sounds, and other sensory messages with one another through the link, and the target recognizes you as the creature it is communicating with. The spell enables a creature with an intelligence score of at least 1 to understand the meaning of your words and take in the scope of any sensory messages you send to it.
all right.
Interesting.
So it seems like it's a one-way radio, but you can do it as many times to people around you.
Is it a one-way radio or is it a two-way
No, it's a
radio?
link.
It's
You and the target
It's a two-way
can- yeah.
radio that you can just hand off the controller on the other side to whoever you target, but you
Yeah.
can't connect 3 people or 4
Okay.
or more.
Yeah, I think what happens is he turns to Del Nadre, and what he wants to do is ask, "What's a nautiloid?" Except he does it in Del's head.
What?
In Dell's head.
Oh.
Del is extremely familiar with the processes of telepathy, so nothing about this is off-putting to him. It's just surprising, and he recognizes immediately what's happening. It's just like, hey, that's pretty good. And then he responds in
And then
telepathy, like
it's
with
Levi.
telepathy.
It's Levi who freaks out. And he's like, "Your mouth didn't move. Why did I hear that?"
You're expanding your consciousness, Levi.
Rosemary's just looking back and forth between them and just like, what? I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'm going back to bed.
Del's
Yeah, they're
sitting in
just-
like the
at this point, they're
Morpheus
just, like,
pose with
staring
like
at
his
each other.
fingers steepled.
Yeah.
You've
Like-
connected your consciousness to the network, Levi. Welcome.
What does that mean?
You're one of us now.
Welcome
It is
to
called
Vegas.
Skynet.
He blinks a bunch of times and he says, "Have you always been able to do this?
Yeah.
Why?"
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess it's this like the Kalishtar thing, and he holds up the crystal. But I didn't know that, so
And he just stops for a second. He says, and I think it's at this point that he realized that he's also doing it, and that his own mouth wasn't moving this whole time. And he says, out loud this time, he says, "Wait, I was talking in your brain."
good. You're starting to believe.
Was I not?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying shit at this point.
Now you've confused me, Del Nadre.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's a psychic rock. That's cool.
Well, this is definitely interesting. And he starts wrapping it back up to put it back in his bag.
Mm-hmm. What was that bit about a nautiloid, though?
Do you know what a
Uh,
nautiloid is?
No.
I don't either.
Sounds like nautilus, which is like a shell or something, right?
I think so. Yeah, we have them in the ocean. But hey, Rosemary, do you know what a nautiloid is?
Do I know what a nautiloid is? DM, is there any possible way I know what a
No.
nautiloid is?
No more
Little
than
miss, I can identify an illithid from its skull.
no more than like than what Dell said, where it's like the type of creatures that are in like snails and stuff. Not like the
The fancy
It's a
snail. Now go to
cephalopod.
bed.
It's a cephalopod. You
DJ's really upset about this.
ignorant.
Uranus.
I thought you
You
were asleep.
Why? No.
The lag.
Carson, I think your microphone's lagging a bit.
I wasn't sure if that was just me or not. He's so upset about the Nautilus snail comment that he's literally his rage is interfering with his Wi-Fi connection.
Well, Bitte is like sleep talking. Rosemary's just like, it's a fancy snail. Now go to bed. Stop touching things.
He's just like thrashing back and forth like he's having a terrible nightmare. Cephalopod.
Cephalopod. Is he back?
I am back.
Okay, wonderful.
There we go.
Yeah, your microphone was kind of like skipping
Okay.
and lagging, so we didn't quite hear your cephalopod comment other than cephalopod.
Okay, yeah, I didn't bring it back. I didn't put it back on Wi-Fi after I got back in. Also, I just noticed your little avatar, Justin, is a cat eating a taco.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
it's a taco cat.
But yeah, nautiluses are cephalopods, not snails.
But also, did you call me Tristan?
No.
Okay.
Where you
I
heard the
don't know
word
what-
Tristan.
No, your name is Cheston, yes?
It's Blake.
God damn it. Motherfucker. I'm so sorry.
Justin is Creed.
I know, Cheston is Creed. God damn it. I'm the worst at mixing up names. Fucker.
I love that we introduced ourselves like
Motherfucker.
10 minutes ago.
I'm bad at things and or stuff.
It's like, what did I hear?
It's okay.
I didn't call you Tristan. I said Chested. Yeah.
This is also not your name.
The confidence.
God
Like,
damn
I
it.
love it.
Fuck, sorry, but
All right. Well,
On that note,
it's about this time, after the screams and the freaking out about voices and heads and talking, that you hear kind of like the knock of a spear on the outside of your tent poles. And it is the Goliath that you are friendly with that works the gate. Bitte. And he kind of you can recognize his voice as he walks up and taps on your tent. He's like, hey, everything okay in here?
Beta
oh wait, I think you
is,
already put away the crystal. I was gonna say, like, cover the crystal.
Beta is probably. Is this like about the time that we were thinking we'd get out and head in?
Yeah, because it's the end of the long rest. He took the time to
Okay,
for stuff like that. Yeah, this is like wrapping up
Yeah,
the long
so-
rest. Is this
Okay, yeah. So Beta is probably like rolling up the last of his bedrolls, getting ready to take the tent down. It's like, yes, we are just fixing to come inside. How are you? How's the family?
Honestly, though, it would have been great if this guy is just like walking up to our tent, which is glowing purple. Hey, everyone okay in there? It just goes dark. Yeah, we're fine.
Oh yes, everyone. This is my friend Chester. He works the gates.
Weird name.
Hey guys. No, his name, which I have already picked, is Gammon. Gaman.
I mean, it's
Close enough.
not the farthest name from Cheston.
BJ, that wasn't even close.
It means ham in giant.
Yeah. He's like, good, but times are tough. What's been going on in here? It's saw this purple light. Then it just kind of disappeared. You know, I just, well, you being non-Goliaths, it's soon magic's magic. But
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, sometimes someone needs to glow purple, and they don't need to publicize that to everybody.
Right.
I'm sure
I
sometimes
cast
you
dancing
glow in
lights.
strange colors, and we're not asking you about it.
It's not contagious. This glow, right?
I cast dancing lights and make like a couple of purple lights. And it's like, no, it's just, it's a nice neutral light. It helps people see what they're doing without just being real harsh on your eyes.
Yeah, it doesn't reduce your night vision like regular white light does.
Okay.
Levi looks at him and he says, "Up until now, I could only glow gold. I've just added purple to my repertoire."
Okay. All right, everyone, roll me some deception. Because one, dancing light is a much brighter light than his small 5 foot, 10 foot, light there.
I was telling the truth.
It's fair.
It's not actually dancing lights. Each light sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius.
But you have 4
It's
of them?
actually you
But I
create
actually-
up to 4 torch-sized lights.
Okay.
So I can make just one.
Okay. All right. And it's just dim light in a 10 foot. 10 foot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then roll deception with advantage there, sir.
Easy peasy. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So he kind of narrows his eyes for a little bit, and he starts to like swat at the dancing light. I'm guessing you just have it in your hand, or you like, is it
It
flying?
hovers.
Is it flying around the
tent.
the tent?
I'll have it orbit his head right now.
Yeah,
So
he's kind of just like swatting away at him. He's like, Bitte, try to keep your friends in line. I know I don't want anything bad to happen to you. You know it's a tough time right now. Anniversary.
I'm gonna do the hot tub thing, and it's gonna slowly like change through the hues from like purple into blue and into green.
He's very distracted as he trying to get it. He's like, anyways.
Come on, that is part of why we're here. We need to speak to the chief.
All right, I turn it off.
That's why I'm here. He said he will speak to you tomorrow, but you're welcome to come inside.
Okay.
Why not
sorry.
today? We already waited overnight.
Yeah. You don't make demands of Arn. Even if you are coming to him with a show of strength, such as acquiring the cloak of Ogalai.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe like he'd kind of want this thing. Like a lot of things can happen in a day, but I'll try to keep it nice and clean while we're in town.
No, it's fine, Rosemary. It's one of those. Clearly, he's intimidated by your show of strength here. I think we should
he needs
give
some time to prepare. That's
Yeah,
understandable.
we should give him the time he needs to gather his thoughts and his strength.
He kind of hesitates for a moment there and looks at Bitte and kind of like looks you in the eye and then like looks back to the people. He's like, it's not too far from the truth. It is. Things are not good with Sky Tower, and we are at the precipice of an open conflict with Wormdoom Crag. Bitte, I know we've had a number of interactions and chats over the past 10 years. We formed a relationship as many of my other friends and colleagues and family members here don't like you, but you coming in now with a peace offering as everyone wants blood. You can't just lay it unrequested on Arn's lap. Now you've proven nothing except that your strength could rival his own, and that's could be seen as a challenge. So he's letting you feel out the Goliaths here in Sky Tower. Get to know them, make your own first impressions, so that he doesn't have to convince us that you're worth helping. We'll make it before he even has to lift a finger, before he even has to say a word. In fact, he's already taken off on the Griffin to go and look around at our borders. And he's totally not there.
Well, we will take some time, speak to some of the people in town that I know, and Gammon, we need as much information on the struggles you are facing here as we can possibly have.
Tell me, Bitte, how was it when you were in Wormdoom Crag? I assume you made your way through if you passed through here again.
Things were Since the correct me if I'm mistaken in any of my telling here.
Mhm.
They were things were a bit scarcer than normal, food-wise and material-wise. And obviously, there was concern and animosity about recent interactions between hunting parties and patrols. The information I received was that things had gotten hard and scarce up here, and that some of your hunting parties had encroached and violently interacted with some of our patrols.
Of course, the Wormdoon Crag always flavoring the Sky Tower with violence. But it's true, things are scarcer. And if we are feeling, if Wormdoon Crag is calling their situation scarce, then I can only imagine the birth of our scarcity, or the scarcity between us, between our two clans and our two settlements. The hunting incursions that you mentioned that have turned violent, they, of course, were unavoidable, but escalated unnecessarily. But when we chase animals from our hunting grounds onto yours, and your people refuse to let us claim the kill that we had rightfully secured, despite being just a measly few miles or so, or miles, yards to meters to, is it miles? Into your territory. That not being said, that Arn is without an heir, and the people are pushing for more violent terms with Wormdoon Crag. I don't necessarily agree with all of them, but many of them want to outright take Wormdoon Crag. For dying here at Sky Tower would be a lonely death, and I'd rather die in battle.
I would rather none of us die fighting one another at all. We have. Most of this is better saved for Arn, but we have word and promise from Ogalai to change the restrictions on the borders to allow you to hunt more freely, to assist or to assist Sky Tower with perhaps some trade and some foodstuffs. And also there's more, and there's dangers besides our petty differences that need to be addressed. But these things are better saved for Arn himself.
And I can't forget about the missing hunter that we have, who was investigating some. He put it just some encroachments upon our own hunting grounds. I'm sure he had he's sitting nice and comfortable in the Wormdoon Crag jail, is he not? We need to see the exchange of that prisoner.
I don't recall this prisoner. Was
that,
there a
like,
prisoner?
discussed?
As
Don't
far
remember
as
I
seeing a
imagine
jail.
it was never mentioned that there
Okay.
wasn't that there is no jail in Wormdoon Crag, nor had this ever come up while you were there.
Beta kind of cautious when he goes. There is no Sky Tower hunter in our. Well, we don't have a jail, but we don't have any hunter of yours.
Sure.
Where did they go missing?
Well, it was just a little bit after we had our first interaction with Wormdoom Crag, the first violent one, and we had thought that your people were paying us back an eye for an eye, hunting our own lands. It was a little ways off. In fact, a bit closer towards. I'm trying to look at the map. Kind of what makes sense, but it was on the edge of one of Sky Tower Shelter's like hunting grounds, somewhere up here in the spine of the world.
How long would it take us to get there from Sky Tower? To get there and back? Just more than a day, less than a day is as much information as I need.
Yeah, I'm trying to look right now. More than a day. Yeah, more than a day.
This is troubling. There is not time for us to go investigate this before meeting with Arn tomorrow. They would rather not waste 2 or 3 days of Levi's precious time any more than we are already spending.
Well, it was about I guess just under 7 days ago that we lost the hunter. We sent somebody out already to check, but they couldn't come up with anything. There had been a pretty strong blizzard that had ran through, or rather snowstorm that had ran through that area, and many of the tracks were covered up by the time our people noticed he was gone and then made the trek out there.
Perhaps this is a matter that could be discussed if the parley was accepted with the other clan. They would probably have more knowledge of whether or not they have a prisoner than we would.
Would it be possible for us to, or actually, this is a question that I'm sure Beta would just know an answer to.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of like fast messenger service?
Is there someone who could cast sending in the town? Could pay someone to cast sending for us?
/ would Tansy potentially be able to ferry a letter back and then like at the end of the letter say, please stab Tansy. And then you could just resummon it.
Wait, but his fancy vest.
Oh shit, they would never stab Tansy. They would never do it.
They would refuse.
That seems like she could fly down there and fly back.
Yeah, I don't know why we couldn't just tell her to come back.
Yes, that's fine. I'm good at that. I didn't know the time scale on these things, but yes. So we should. Gammon, can you? Let's do. Delnadre, you have papers, materials. Yes, we might
Sure.
make a little map we could give to Tansy to deliver to Wormdoom for them to send some kind of investigating party on their way up.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. How far can Tansy go away from you?
I mean, indefinitely. She's her own creature. I won't be able to communicate with her telepathically outside of a range of. Where is it? Once she's outside of 100 feet, I can't.
Okay.
Communicate with her telepathically, but I mean, she can still act on her own.
So Tansy's gonna fly to Wormdoom Crag, to ask the message about the missing hunter.
Yeah, if that's okay with everyone. I just feel like getting well. How long is it gonna be before they start walking up? Like 5 days or something?
Yeah, they told you. Let's go with 5 days. I want to say it might have been. I don't think it was a 10-day because I think we are on a pretty tight schedule, if I'm not mistaken, where like a 10-day is the end of your account. Levi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it was like 5 days. I know I remember saying that you're going to get to the Yeti village with enough time to spare.
Yeah, I think
Like
we
plot
said
wise.
that like my time ends before the speaker council, but we would have enough time to get here.
Yes. So yeah,
And how far is the speaker council away?
That's pretty far away.
It's like 10 days, right?
If you took the more dangerous path, you could get there a little less. But yeah.
No, I mean timeline wise. Like I'm trying to.
Yes. The speaker council is about 10 days away.
Okay, yeah. So I have a couple days less than that.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll say that the Wormjune Crag were set to come in half a 10-day. So because they were already planning on kind of gearing up anyways, and they increased their timeline so that you could gave you enough time to get here to negotiate ahead of time. And Tansy, being that he's a bird, she's a bird.
He's a bird.
He's a bird.
She's
a bird. Sorry. It can just fly and get there a lot quicker. So,
I mean, we got here in a day, right?
Right.
By
We
got here in a single travel day.
I would think Tansy could make it there and back.
She could probably make the round trip in a day.
Yeah, we'll get another day. When Arn is ready to talk to you, Tansy will be probably likely right around the time to be back and report. So tomorrow morning you will have a word from Tansy. So bye Tansy. Your gold filigree vest.
Do you wanna leave the vest? In case maybe you mess it up.
Bad things happen.
No, you're right. They'll probably take it as an insult. They'll wonder where your vest is. Yeah, you better wear it. Okay, go with my love. Good luck. Be good. Be careful. It's always so hard watching them leave the nest.
And
just go and pat him on the shoulder.
How do you do it, Rosemary? All of the birds and bats and frogs.
Sometimes you need to live and let die. As is the great circle of life.
I
take off my hat and put it over my heart, and a bat flies out, and I'm like, there it goes off into the world, created from nothing, and nothing it shall become.
Okay,
Anyway.
but Tansy, she cost me 10 gold. That's not nothing. And 2, I don't want her to die.
Why does your bird cost money?
I love
things. I don't know. I didn't invent magic.
Your magic's weird.
Tansy is on a subscription cost.
You should just do my kind of magic where you can just take your hat off and there's a rat in there, and I pull off my hat again and out comes a rat.
It's more weird that I watch the rat as it tumbles off the cliff.
The bat comes and swoops it up, I guess, and carries it off to eat it, maybe. I don't know if any type of bat eats a rat.
The bat at this altitude with the cold weather just turns into an instant brick. and falls
Well,
down.
bats are like, I mean, compositionally speaking, rats probably look up to bats as like angels, right? So that's probably like a divine intervention that rat's being carried off to Valhalla.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
rats can grow up to the size of a small dog. Your standard Mexican freetail
Big-ass
bat weighs the same in your hand as 2 quarters or 3 peanut M&Ms. 4 peanut M&Ms.
The
Why are
airspeed
we-
velocity of an unladen swallow.
Why
Can
are
a-
we,
can a bat
why are
carry
we
a
going
rat?
here like with the extremes of the largest rat to the smallest bat? Can't we
I was
kind of
gonna
go like
say, that's a
somewhere in the middle
teeny-
for both of them?
Like, isn't there like a big ass fruit bat? It's like
The largest breeds of bat are fruit bats, and 2 foot nose to tail, 6 foot wingspan.
nice.
What about a medium bat? Would a medium bat be able to like carry a medium rat? Or is this bat
Could probably at least
No.
glide. They're
No,
just like plummeting through the clouds.
most bats are quite small, and most rats are like, I don't know, the size of a hoagie.
I also think most carnivorous bats don't grow very large.
Yeah.
It's like all
Yeah,
about
no,
like efficiency.
So
Anyway,
rat tumbles off cliff. Bat attempts to attempt divine intervention. Latches on, gets claws stuck in hair. They both plummet. And
Rosemary just like wipes a tear into the circle of life.
See, now that should be considered weird here. Not what I'm doing with this bird.
You pay money and a bird shows up.
Beta and Gammon look at each other.
I'm here
And,
emotionally and financially attached to this bird while you're just yeeting creatures into the void.
Listen, yeeting is a very insensitive term for creating life.
you're like one of those rich people who like money has no like small amounts of money just have no actual worth to them. Like a small rat that comes out of your hat is the equivalent to like $1, which you would like use to blow your nose and then just throw off the cliff, like you did with this rat.
I get $3 a day for free, and sometimes I'd yeet them off a cliff.
And
One puffin, what could it cost? $10?
It's one banana, Michael.
So yeah, we need to reevaluate your morals as a druid.
I am a very moral druid with like actual creatures that don't show up out of my hat and disappear after an hour.
Didn't we canonize?
All life has meaning, which means no life has meaning.
Yeah, it's like, listen, sometimes things die.
And sometimes I caused them to die.
Yeah.
It wasn't
How am
like
I gonna justify being an adventurer if I don't have that moral sense?
the natural circle of life includes throwing rats off of really tall mountain peaks. Like it's
Sometimes nature is a yeti coming after us and trying to murder us for no reason. I think I'm allowed to put a fairy rat off a cliff. I also didn't throw it off the cliff, it ran off that cliff. I gave it 1 hour of life and it chose to do that with it.
Beta and Gammon look at each other, and Beta just shrugs and shakes his head.
Yeah. Gammon just
I have no explanation for this interaction.
this is gonna be something. Well, come on in, make your acquaintances to everyone within the gates, and yes, I don't really know. What are you here to do besides end the peace? Are you just gonna talk to us and peace
in
is
the
ended?
conflict, but
Yes,
not
sorry.
in the conflict.
And the conflict, yes.
Peace was never an option.
I suppose we can get a better feel of your people's needs. So we'll go and we'll find some people to talk to, find out what the rumors and concerns of the masses are. See if we can't give some better information to the negotiations that are going to happen.
Arn or not Arn, Gammon kind of grunts, begins to walk towards the gate, opening it up. No, so you can
walk
just
through.
you can just walk through it.
No, you have to click something that makes the little gate in the picture actually open.
Like I've already removed the dynamic lighting. There's nothing there besides you're walking. So in the area that Bitte is walking through, you have as I described last session, 5 stoic Goliaths that stand guard atop a 10-foot high rocky outcrop with stairs leading up to it. A large empty nest occupies one corner of the ledge, and 2 rough-hewn tunnels at the back of the ledge lead deeper into the mountain. There are from the entrance 2 ways to go. You can go to the south, which does not go up 10 feet. It kind of just winds around and back deeper into the shelter, or you can go up the ramp 10 feet up and go. Then have a choice to go either the north or south of these 2 tunnels.
Which path does Beta normally take that leads?
So from when you've been here, and these warriors are kind of going to readjust themselves. So they stand guard against the northern tunnel. You know that to be that kind of that area goes to Arn's personal his home, and you have to kind of work your way into there. Now to the south, that's where you would go towards one of the stones. You don't also really have a. They were actually I'm gonna walk myself back there. There are also guards, kind of shifting themselves back over this way. They're not like actively blocking the way, except they are in Arn's situation. But the one over here kind of just glare at you as you come closer. Typically for you would go to the southern tunnel down here in Bitte, which leads all the way.
Okay,
that leads to the food.
Okay, so both of those tunnels are kind of off limits to us at this time, or
Arn's tunnel is definitely off limits. At least there are just people there that are kind of glaring at you. That nobody's actively said no, you can't come this way, but they also aren't really like opening up the way to let you come. You can ask and talk to the Goliaths that are at the beginning of the tunnel if you wish.
yeah, fuck it, let's do that. So that this is not as straight of a Sky Tower Worm Doom issue in these interactions, feeling a little more neutral and trusting. Perhaps one of you would like to take the lead in these interactions. I have
think
knowledge
that
and
I'm
I will chime in.
challenging Arn. Should I lean into that?
Perhaps not at this stage. We want as much information as we can get, I think, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you think that would be effective? I could not say.
I know Ogalai seemed to get a lot friendlier when I turned into a goat and tried to kick her ass. I didn't actually like she definitely could have bodied me, but she didn't. But I don't know.
That works for all of the Goliaths, right?
Like that's just my sample size.
All Goliaths look alike.
Yeah.
Tough to say. Perhaps I don't know. I've never had to be in a diplomatic situation like this before. Normally, I just come, go, interact a little. This is not my forte.
I will read the room whenever he gets here.
Hmm.
Or at least do my best.
In the meantime, do you all want to gather information from the people here about what they're dealing with, or do you
Oh, yeah,
want to?
definitely.
Okay.
We could go do that where the food is, though.
Yeah,
That is actually a great
I
idea.
would say you probably had maybe a light meal, maybe rations, most likely rations, while you were in the tent.
Go
So
eat some goat.
the whole day on the road. You are definitely very hungry.
Yeah. Beta always has warm jerky because he keeps it close to his body.
It also always smells of jerky.
Beta does smell of jerky. That's correct. It's relatively unseasoned though, so it's just like this deep umami smell. If umami could be a smell, that's
Yeah.
what it smells like.
All right. So yeah. Does the party want to go and get food first? You do smell as you walk in, kind of like the lingering hints of a breakfast or a meal being prepared or having been prepared.
Yeah. Food, 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 food.
All
So
right.
You guys do what you want. I'm gonna go do food.
So is everyone going to food? Are we splitting the party?
I
Food is a good...
think Levi would absolutely go get food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Beta would stay
Rosemary
with him.
wouldn't turn down a warm breakfast.
Yeah.
All right. Then, as you walk,
Thank God you're here with your torch. It's so dark in this hallway.
yes, as you walk down the hallway that is not, yeah, let's see, is not very lit.
Arson, there's something happening in the background of your mic.
Yeah, sorry. I will mute myself.
Can y'all see this light? There's no light coming from very deep within the thing, right?
No, I don't think so.
I don't see anything.
Still nothing. Okay, all right. Well, you can continue to walk down the path as you want to go.
I have to feel my way along the wall right here. Ah, now I can see again. I'll just follow my nose. And it seems to be there's only one path. A trough of lava.
What's that goat soup?
Must be the forge. That or this is one very long flatbread pizza.
I think it's another soup trough.
It's another soup trough, yes. Trying to make sure that it light doesn't seem like it's giving out any light. Oh, I know what I had to do. I have to adjust. There, just that. Did that change it at all? I don't think it does. I
mean, I can see in here.
All right, wonderful. It's just I know that there's more torches, and it's there. I don't think the torches are giving off the light that's supposed to give off, but you have light anyways as you walk around. So this rough hewn passageway slopes gently upward to the south, which is what the passage that you were just coming through, and torches illuminate carvings upon the walls. So as you were going through that tunnel that did not have very much light in it, as it was supposed to have a lot of light, you would have slowly but seen the saga of the Akhenathi clan unfold. If you had wanted to, as you were going through, you can roll me a history check to see if you can determine how old the carvings in the wall are.
I'm not good at that at all, but I'll do it.
As you age the rock while as you walk through. Okay. Yeah, Rosemary is seen. You've seen old rock. Koldahar is a very old settlement, and this had to have been at least 400, maybe half a thousand years old, 400 to 500 years old. That the stories of these rocks have been of the clan has been carved in the walls of Sky Tower shelter.
How many years old did you say?
400 to 500 years.
400. Okay, 400 to 500 years. Okay.
Yeah. Is my voice coming through clearly? Is it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you're good. I had I heard the words that you said, and then immediately they left my brain.
Yeah. So the stories show.
Hearing you, I'm just not listening.
Yeah. The carvings in the rock tell of how the Akhenathi Goliaths tamed the mountain, how they dug their tunnels and caves to serve their needs, creating a home high within the mountain peaks, and how they formed friendships with the griffins, turning these ravenous monsters, kind of like the early depiction of the monsters, have them a bit more violent into stalwart hunting companions. The later ones, after a griffin has been tamed, they look more honorful, respectful, glory.
Ye old How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. Later carvings focus on the wars with the orcs, when Skytail and Wormdoom Goliaths were united among a common foe. And then just after this, carvings made within the past century chronicle the souring of their friendship between the two settlements, with scenes showing the warriors of Wormdoom Crag slaying griffins, followed by bloody skirmishes between Goliath clans on mountainsides. The newest carving...
Playing multiple griffins? Or just the one griffin?
It says multiple... It says griffins. So it definitely shows more than one griffin. Because the feud started with one griffin. That's not to say that Wormdoom Crag and Sky Tower Shelter didn't then have like a brief war after that.
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
We've only really talked about the beginning of it, not the fact that then afterwards we basically fought for the past 100 years. They've had some peace, but it was more of like a Wormdoom Crag 1 in Sky Tower Shelter's, licking his wounds, so to speak.
Okay. Makes sense.
The newest carvings depict the lone Goliath chasing a giant polar bear that's standing upright, and a diminished population of Sky Tower Goliaths contending with the seemingly endless winter. So they have shown depictions of the winter and the effects of Oral's everlasting winter on their people, kind of just like with like almost like a body count of Goliaths that they have lost to the winter. Roll me a D100.
A D100.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Didn't mean to click on that. Here we go. D100.
There are 42 X marks under like this depiction of a large snowflake with a face, and it just has large. And they have like a little body that they carved, and they put an X over it.
Okay, and then the painting of the bear. How old is that one?
It's also new.
Like very new, like
before the everlasting winter, so at least 2 years old or so. It could be a 1 year old. You can't determine the age of that newer carving. It's just down to the exact year, I should say.
Yeah.
Would
so
the bear?
Sorry,
would the bear carving mean anything to Beta? / did we have a thing about a bear happen? I can't recall.
There was. Yes,
I'm trying to tiptoe around it in case it's just meta knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of is like I want to say that and correct me if I'm wrong. Did it come up? If it did come up, it would have came up during the Black Cabin. Does that sound familiar to everyone?
Did we?
Talking about a
Oh.
giant upright walking polar bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's referencing the same one, the where polar bear, that that had been interacting with the gray cabin, and I think we had described it, Bite, as knowing of the person, but I don't think you knew the person's name, or you did know the person's name. You've known the stories, but I don't think you've ever interacted with them.
Is this the same
No,
person
right?
that
Because we posted the picture and we discussed the goggles.
Yeah.
Or was it an eye patch? No, it was goggles.
Yeah. So it's of Oya Minaratok.
Oya Minaratok is the werebear?
Yes, where polar bear.
Okay.
Does Beta know the name of the battle against the orcs? Of the war against the orcs that they fought together in?
If you do, you can come up with it because it doesn't say anything here. It doesn't reference anything in particular. I think it's just talking about like a past war. I assume that would be like it's hundreds of years back. So is that the war that Rizzo Durden had one of his books on? Is it referencing that just general orc conflict that the Ten Towns had in the past? I think that's kind of just what they were referencing is like when the orcs were laying waste to a majority of Ten Towns, both of the clans had united together to fight them.
Yeah, I'll come up with a name for it.
Yeah. All right. So as you move beyond this tunnel of history, you enter into the feasting cave, and here you can see 9 Goliath warriors that are sitting around. And oh goodness, I don't know if can y'all hear my dogs in the background?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah, a little bit.
Probably a dog walking past.
They are excited.
Yeah.
Get your house in order, Corey.
So there are 2 contests going on right now. So you have these Goliaths here to the south that are just kind of sitting and watching. And as you guys approach, and I'll just kind of scoot you back a little bit, you see two sets of 2 Goliaths holding rocks in their hands, outstretched, as they sweat and struggle against each other. So this long rectangular fire pit heats up the 15-foot high cave and fills the area with the scent of a stew cooking on in their little stew broth or trough. The sound of cheering also fills the cave as 2 sets of 2 Goliaths stand near the southern wall and the 2 northern walls. And with their arms extended out from their sides, each holding a large rock in each hand. Their muscles quiver from their exertion, and their jaws are clenched as sweat streams down their face. 5 more Goliaths stand around them, cheering and waving little legs of meat. Emphasize little. In their hands, these little things of meat look very small. And so now, as you guys...
Can I tell what legs they are? Like what animal they came from?
Yes. Roll me a nature check.
Okay. 10.
Could be from a very large bird or from a very small goat.
Jock mating rituals are so complicated.
So as
Levi, are you going to get in on that?
Hmm?
I ask him telepathically.
Levi jumps as you talk into his mind, and he looks, and then he actually looks at Beta, and he says, "Are we welcome to any and all of the food? Do we have to pay for it? What is the situation here? Before I go eating far too much food."
What would Beta know the situation here to be?
You are welcome to a bowl of food. If you've made it past the guards and people in the Goliaths in the Sky Tower shelter, then assuming that the alarm was not wrong and they're not aware that you're like attacking, they would know that you're welcome to the same thing as much, but at the same time you've already heard them talk about scarcity, and you can see that the Goliaths are plainly a bit less plump than you've seen them in the past. Maybe their bodies look like they are more leaner than before as well. So excessive eating is frowned upon, to say the very least.
Yeah.
I will
Beta.
cast Goodberry real quick, just so I have 10 good berries, and I'll pass one to everyone. Is like, if we want to have like a little bit of soup, but here's this to at least tide us over.
To
Um,
to take a small serving of soup would perhaps be the most polite.
All right, so the serving utensils for the soup, along with the bowl, the kind of bowls are here at the corner, and the serving utensils are in between the Goliaths that are kind of standing on the other side that have looked at you, but are kind of like they're starting to look at you, the party now. They're still cheering, but a few of them kind of have looked over and look back and look over and kind of just keep looking at you. They've noticed Bitte, so they've seen somebody that they're at least kind of like, oh, it's another group. So the competition is still going on, but the people who are in the competition do not seem to have noticed you. Anywho, the serving utensils are in the gap between them, if you wish to go and pour yourself some food.
Beta will motion for the others to go first.
Okay, yeah. Levi will do that.
Yeah, I'll go get a small bowl of soup,
Soup.
and I'll like crush up my Goodberry and put that in my soup.
All right. So as you walk forward and begin to grab bowls and serve yourself, the Goliaths that were ignoring you or not aware of you during their competition kind of all stop and drop their rocks, and now the whole room is staring as these outsiders help themselves to some soup.
As soon as they start staring, I will put my soup back in the bowl or in the trough.
Are you gonna pour your already poured soup into back into the trough?
I'm imagining like she's like has it kind of over the trough as she like puts one spoonful into the bowl and like sees everyone and just kind of like tips the bowl back into the trough.
One of them like looks at you in the eye and just like, Halfwork, what are you doing?
I was told it might.
Who
be-
brought you in here?
We're here to talk to Arn, but we were told he's not going to be back until tomorrow.
So oh, so and he kind of looks now, and having seen Bitte before, he looks over and gestures to Bitte and kind of sees Gammon walking up behind you guys now. As this conversation is happening and joining the back of the group, and he has a little slight smile, and he's like, No. You don't get to just have a nice bowl of soup without first besting one of our comrades in a little competition here. That's what they're doing right now. Our rations are so low, we can't feed all of us, at least not with the good portions of the stew. If you wish to wait, and you notice now as you get closer, a number of the Goliaths that are kind of standing behind the stew troughs don't have any stew in their bowl, almost like they're waiting their turn. Like, come, all of you. Bitte, you as well. Hold the rock out. And they kind of gesture to what they want you to do, which is to hold a rock in each hand. And the longer you hold it up, the earlier you get to go in line to get your soup. the earlier you get to go in line and get your soup, the more actual things you get in your soup versus just broth. The last person will just get broth. And that is kind of how they've been handling their rationed food. So the strong stay strong, the weak get weaker. All right, are y'all ready to do this? Is there anything
Sure.
is there anything you'd like to say before? Because he's just kind of like offered this to you.
Look, I don't really want to step on your macho rituals or anything, but that's fine. I'll go last. Dell's not going to participate.
I'm not even
I
gonna
think
I'm not even gonna give it a try.
I think
Nah.
Go on, Levi.
I think Levi gets pissed off. I think he gets pissed off because that's fucked up. That is fucked up. The strong are supposed to protect the weak. And that is not how, like, this is not how Levi does things.
Okay. And how does Levi express your anger? Is this
And
kind of like is this very visible?
yeah, like he has his jaw
The
clenched,
entire trough.
and he has his fists sort of clenched at his sides, and he's trying not to say anything. But if anybody looked at him, it is very clear that he has something to say.
The Goliath warriors either don't care or don't notice your anger, and kind
Fair.
of like each of them step back and offer the 4 sets of rocks that were there to the party members. So to do the test, you're going to be rolling a series of athletics checks to hold it basically.
Are we competing against them as well, or just against each other?
It's more of like they're kind of timing you guys, and you're going to be competing in like amongst the Goliath warriors, so to speak.
That's fair. Okay.
So it's not like a win against your opponent. It's almost like a rolling initiative, and then you get to make your way. But at the same time, it's those who hold it the longest win. So like you make it to 4 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
You said athletics check?
yes, it'll be an athletics check. You may each roll your first athletics check now. I'm going to keep the DC as secret.
I'm going to wild shape back into my ape form.
All right. So as you wild shape into your ape form, the Goliaths kind of like take this rather defensively. In thinking that like you were about to grab the rocks, and they kind of like jump back because you don't give them any warning, right? It's like you walking up and then wild shaping into your ape.
I imagine doing it like as the like as she takes the rock, so like kind of as it's put in her hand, she turns into an ape.
Yeah, so the Goliath warrior that kind of like gives it to you, like jumps back and like almost growls. The other one that was standing right here runs forward and grabs a rock, and they're just kind of like in this ready stance, looking at you.
Rosemary just kind of like in the ape form just raises an eyebrow and just holds the rock out as
Fellas,
she was
it's
instructed.
fine. It's fine. It's just an ape.
Just a monkey. Have you not seen one before in your mountain town?
The
Which like she obviously doesn't say because she's a monkey and can't communicate. But
too bad you didn't have the rock, so you can communicate telepathically.
Yep.
Peter
So-
chuckles and shakes his head and extends his arm in the rock.
The Goliath warrior that kind of had been speaking to your group before, just in a low tone, is like, "Well, we're not going to be feeding no damn ape. I hope she'll be turning back into a half orc. It's already enough to feed." And so, roll a athletics check, Rosemary, Bete, Levi, are you going to be interacting with the customs of the people, or are you going to abstain?
Yes. Yeah. No, Levi is going to participate. And he is going to walk over to this guy over here to grab some of the rocks. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna rage.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let some of that anger out.
Yeah. Good. All right. You rage, and each of you survives the first minute. Bete having the easiest time of it all. I'd say Bete, you probably have done this before. You would have noticed though, or had that, as I had described earlier, this is not like a typical thing they have done. This is probably something that's more recent, as they kind of found a new way to, instead of everyone just getting an equal share of the food, those who have muscles and can protect the clan get a little bit of more meat, more vegetables, more vitamins and nutrients. So, but Ben, your rage from before, the anger you felt at the unfairness and unjustness of this trial, it almost causes you to slip up, your fingers trembling with anger, and it came pretty close. And Rosemary, you were able to skate on by in 8 form. No problem at all.
Question.
Yes.
Soup composition. Is this like a clear broth, or is it,
It's a brown broth.
okay, kind of thick?
No,
Be thick.
not very thick.
It's like a chicken soup sort of thing. Not creamy chicken, just chicken.
Yeah.
So kind of
Sort of.
see through, kind of clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had they had more things to put in it, had their yields been greater from their crops and their hunting trips more bountiful, the broth would have been more thicker. But if you were to bring it up with Bitte, he would recommend, he would probably make a comment to say that yeah, it's quite clear that the broth is clear. Yeah.
It's
It's fine.
normally a hard to your fare.
Yes. All right, let's roll. And Del Nadri, before we begin the second round, you do not want to take part. There is still a set of rocks set there, ready for you to pick up.
Still here.
I can't hear you, Del.
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 You might be
Del.
dealing with a dog.
Del.
Dog.
Bueller.
Bueller.
Fry. Fry.
Luke.
I am your father.
Fun fact, the actress or the actor who speaks up about where Ferris is, the kind of like ditzy blonde preppy gal in that
Mhm.
scene, is the original Buffy from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie.
Fun.
That's an interesting fact.
Yep.
Del, Blake, are you here? We cannot hear you. I'm gonna assume he's not here, but I don't want to.
Do you want to just roll a d20 in case he decides he wanted to participate?
Fair enough. Yes.
Hello?
Oh, we can hear you now.
Okay. I was like, yeah, I'm here. Well, I'm going to guess he's not here. Yeah, okay.
Rip.
Yeah, we did not hear you since you started to ask about the broth clearness.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
you answered my
It's
question.
rough,
Okay.
I'm good.
So, and you're not going to take part in the competition still.
Nah, fuck those guys.
All right. Then roll me another set of athletic checks, everyone.
Come on, big money.
Motherfucker.
Fuck.
Bitte and Rosemary both dropped their rocks. Bitte, you almost got to the end of the second minute, but your rock kind of slips out, or it just drops. Things happen, right? Same for you, Rosemary. It just kind of slips from your grip and drops down to the ground. Levi continues to have a strong hold, perhaps even gaining some stalwart strength from his friends falling and his now need to ensure victory and have a hearty soup to share.
The rock cracks.
All right, Levi, roll again for the third minute. Can you hold on? It is a hard-fought battle, but finally Levi falls. Levi's rock falls down. His arms kind of just slowly going down, having accepted it. His rage ending peacefully or ending violently?
I think he just drops the rocks on the ground and just like waits to hear what they have to say next.
Let me roll some dice to see how well they do. The ones that we're gonna, they kind of just, they laugh, they chuckle a little bit. There is a few people, let's say two of the 9 Goliaths made it to the 4 minutes. Most of them though are in the second minute, kind of just along the same time as Rosemary and Carson and Bitte. But here, let me roll a few for the Goliaths. We got a +6 going down here. So 23. Good. So do it again. Good. Okay. Yeah, I'd say about of the 9 or 7 remaining that have made it, one more gets ahead of you. So there's 3 Goliaths that were ahead of the group, and then the 2-minute or the 10-minute mark comes with the majority of them, the rest of them, and then there is one Goliath that only made it for 1 minute, failed in the first go, and then you have Dil Nadre. So generally speaking,
Rosemary would like to give her spot to the one who failed in the first minute.
okay.
She turns back into Rosemary and just kind of puts a hand on his shoulder and says, I don't need to eat. You have my spot.
He seems quite grateful. Roll me, I'm gonna say friendship.
Friendship.
I
make like direct eye contact with whoever like the strongest is as I give this guy my spot, and then I just go in my corner and I eat a good berry.
Okay. You make a little bit of an impression upon the Goliath there. The showing of passing along your meal to the one of the weaker Goliaths, yes. One of the more leaner and gauntier ones. Levi.
Yeah,
sorry, go on.
I'm also not wild about the whole only like the weak get weaker and the strong get stronger. It's like that doesn't fly with Rosemary. But she's not gonna like flip the trough or anything.
All right. For the most part, after your contests and the Goliaths kind of do continue their contests, none of them kind of outwardly reach out to speak with you. Even Gammon has left your group, so to speak, and is joined the rest of the Goliaths. And we'll say for the time being, you guys, unless you're going to make a willing effort to go closer to the rest of them, currently stand right here, which is above a lower pit. And in that lower pit, just to the north of you, with that little obelisk-looking rock, It is in the center of this 12-foot high cave stands an 8-foot tall stone inscribed with runes. Behind it, a 5-foot diameter chute with carved footholds ascends into another cavern. So you have a little bit of you can skip from where you are in the feasting cave to the shrine of strength and honor. Right there to the north of you.
I would like to say that when it's Levi's turn to get food, Levi's going to be an absolute cunt, and he is going to walk the trough and get little amounts of broth and as much substance in his bowl as he can. And he's going to glare at anybody who has anything to say to him about it. If they do, and if nobody says anything, he's going to wait to eat until the last Goliath gets his soup, the one that traded spots with Rosemary, and then Levi is going to trade bowls with him. And he's going to look at all the other Goliaths and say, "The strong take care of the weak. I'm not here to judge your customs, and I'm not here to change them, but I want you to think about how backwards this is." And then he just storms off.
None of them seem animated enough nor care enough to want to even give you a rebuttal. Kind of just laughing, as that is their way, and something that these Goliaths that are obviously stronger are more willing to keep up with. So as Levi leaves, the Goliath that you did share the food with, and those who are on, and one of the stronger ones, I would say, kind of have given you looks of pride or of awe, or have enjoyed what you've done. But for the most part, the mentality around the feasting cave is that they are not happy. They generally don't care that what you were doing. They look at it to be foolish.
And that's fair. But Levi can't not do anything about it. It's
Yeah.
just not who he is as a person.
Sounds
That's valid.
good. Fair enough. All right. Did anybody else do anything or try to interact with any of the Goliaths while you are eating or after you're eating?
Beta, when he goes, will take just like a half scoop of broth, and then will reach into a pouch and pull out like a pound block of pemmican, which is like actual pemmican is like powdered meat mixed with tallow. So like a pound of pemmican has like 140 grams of protein. Like it's insane.
Yeah, it's like concentrated protein from meat.
Yeah.
And tallow is, what is that consistency like?
Tallow is just like shelf stable fat, basically.
Okay.
So it would be like perfectly solid at these temperatures.
Yeah.
But when he drops it in and like stirs it around, it starts to like just completely come apart, and then it's a shit ton of nutrients just in the broth.
Gotcha.
It's not solid.
Very good.
Yeah, and I'll say that depletes Beta's rations.
And how are you doing this openly, or do you kind of like try to hide this as you do, or do you kind of just like very, very big, or just normal for you, I guess?
Beta, he doesn't make like a whole huge show of it, but he doesn't hide it at all. It's just when he gets his soup, he just takes his bowl, he just takes a half scoop of broth, and then reaches into the pouch and drops it in and kind of stirs it around a bit, and then walks, I guess, from one end to the other, just kind of drawing it through the broth so it's a little distributed once, and then just goes off to I guess he probably just drinks his little thing of broth and sets the bowl aside.
Okay.
Right then.
Wonderful. one of the stronger Goliaths, one of the ones that had eaten first, kind of smells, catches a little bit of whiff of your what'd you call it again? Pempton? Pepton?
Pemmican?
Pemmican. And kind of just like walks over and, hey, can I try some of that?
So I think I said that he put all of it that he had in there.
In the big broth.
In the big broth.
Yeah.
So he would say, I'm out of that, but I have a bit of regular jerky if you want to taste.
I also have some
It
of these, and I'll offer up a good berry.
Tastes about the same, but it's less greasy. There's not fat in that. In this.
In the goodberry? Or
in the jerky.
In the jerky.
Gotcha. In the jerky.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I mean, things have things are, things are tough. So I'd love that extra jerky, if you don't mind.
It's my last one, but I'm good at finding food.
Yeah, it's been and again just like sits down and starts absentmindedly talking. And this is once again, like I mentioned, it's not like one of the weaker Goliaths that probably had some issues like getting food. It's still one of the ones that had been on the higher end of their little food of their order contest, and still looked, as you got closer, still looks like it has a little bit of some gauntness to him. And it's just kind of like, yeah, things have been pretty tough up here. We haven't I'd say it's been, how long would you say it's been, Bitte? Maybe a year since you've been by Sky Tower? Like, actually into Sky Tower?
Probably a year and a half. I think it had been a while since he'd been back to Wormdoom. So
Right, yeah, makes sense. So the last time you saw them, they had begun to see like a little bit of the effects of the everlasting winter. It only had been a few months, if not half a year, that they had seen the colder temperatures, but a year and a half later, he's just like, everything is drying up, but at the same time, it's just all frozen. The goats don't make as many young. The birds, their eggs crack in their nests. Their young don't see flight plummeting from their nests. And it all trickles down to us. It's harder for us to get sustenance. Like I can tell from your buddy, from your open gestures here, that you don't seem to be quite happy with the way that we've done things, but their strength is the loudest voice, it seems, lately. I think we could use a dose of reason.
My friend is passionate and principled. He makes himself known. I don't look down upon the choices that your people have had to make, even if they are not all the choices I would make. We want to help. That is why we are here, to try and end fighting and help your people be fed and ready for the greater threats that lie on our doorstep.
He kind of looks at you when you mention, sharing food, helping them get fed. He kind of looks at you, he's like, are the Wormdoom Crag Goliaths bringing food? Or are you opening up and sharing willingly? Is this what you're here to say?
I think that is for our chieftains to discuss the specifics, but to some degree, certainly, I, it is. This winter has been hard on everyone. There has to be a better way through it than killing one another.
Gotcha says, I agree. I don't want to have to be on the other end of your javelin, Bitte.
Hmm.
Dill, Rosemary, is there anybody you'd like to interact during this feasting, or do you want to speed things along so that you guys could go and interact and explore other parts of the cave?
I have 10 good berries. I ate one of them instead of having any soup. I gave 3 to my friends. So that is 6. I'm going to go to, like, the 6 people who had the least amount of food, or, like, were the last in line, and I'm gonna give each of them a good berry. And just say, I know it looks small, but it helps fill the stomach.
Okay. All right. I'd say about, because you're coming from the weaker end, 60-40, maybe 70-30 of them are appreciative of the gesture. So 4 out of 6. Whereas the other 2, which were in they already had a number of a bit of food. They kind of look at your berry as just like, what is this, a one berry? Like, even understanding like what a good berry is, it's just like, it's just one, right? Like, what is this? And the last 2 just don't take it. They reject your kind offer.
Okay. I'll go. Whoever rejects it, I'll just go to the next one.
As you kind of like continuing on, the rest of them that are higher up don't. None of them would accept it.
Okay. So I have. You said 2 rejected?
Yes. So of the 6
Okay.
you're giving away, 4 were accepted. Which is to say
Okay.
that of the 9, Goliaths that are here, I'd say 5 of them have accepted your offering of kindness. Would you have given a good berry to the person you already gave like a big full bowl of food? Or would you have given the good berries to the others?
I think if they fell within like the bottom 6, I would still offer them a good berry.
Okay. All right, then yeah, still stand correct. I still stand. 5 of the 9 are appreciative of your kind gesture.
Nice.
Still
Dale's
not.
just gonna grab his bowl of broth and then just kind of wander around and try and eavesdrop probably as much as he can from like the big strong lads. Just see if I pick up any useful information from them.
Would you have kind of peeked into the cave that's off to the right as well? Or would you focused
Yeah,
all of your
sure.
sleeping?
Just kind of. I mean, yeah, I'm listening and then looking around as much. Like, so I would have just been kind of making the perimeter.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
So then I'll read off the description of what's going off onto the right, but and then we'll go with what you kind of hear from the cave as well. So off and to the right. That way, even if you wanted to look into that more, you can do that as well. So off and to the right,
I'll just throw myself there.
there's a number of bedrolls and blankets in this cave that give the kind of communalness of it. In an alcove to the north, as you kind of like look inside and like walk past and get deeper glance into the cave, you see 3 young Goliaths that are playing amid a fairly sizable pile of coins and gemstones. It would, if, as I'm not trying to put too much to the greediness of Del Nadre, but it would definitely cause you to have a double take.
It's surprising that they're so food scarce, but they have potentially riches, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that definitely stands out. Does it look like anyone is like, if I wander over in this way, am I getting dirty looks from anyone?
Are you trying to do it if you roll stealth for your kind of, I wouldn't say like subtleness, but just
Yeah, like I'm not like super just trying to like sneak or anything, but just kind of nonchalantly wandering in that direction and
yeah. You're able to get in without anybody really like. People have looked up, but you're just kind of like you're walking with like acquisitive nature, and you give off the vibe of like you're just curious. You're not trying to sneak further in to get more information. You're just curious and trying to get more information. And so yes, you can walk freely into the cave without anybody saying anything to stop you.
You-
So
All right, I'm gonna wander over and talk to the kids.
yeah, so the kids are not on the map, but they're there. We'll just bring one of these guys over here and give you that description, and I will give him some light as well because that might be helpful for seeing him. There you go.
Over there.
Yeah. So you have three Goliath children. Let's go with ages 7, 9, and 12. 12 being kind of like right on that cusp of adulthood. Still a little bit of a child, but very close to doing the Sky Tower Shelter's own version of becoming a true member of the clan.
Yeah, so I'll just wander over, just kind of standing, really standing back just a little bit. I'm not like trying to loom over these kids, and I'll
Yeah.
just watch for a little bit while I sip from my bowl
Yeah.
and try to glean the rules of the game.
So they are playing. What kind of little game could they be playing? They're playing marbles with gemstones. The collective cost of gemstones in the game that they're playing marbles with is easily over, I'd say 150 gold, just casually being flicked across at each other. You've seen this game being played with much cheaper materials. A lot of times just regular rocks that have been smoothened by kind of like just rhythmically rubbing them against the ground, to wood or polished stone, but never gemstones. Additionally, these are not like polished gemstones, so that they tumble around and jump, as some of them have a number of facets on their faces. Facets. That is faces.
But they're faceted, like they're cut. They're not just
They're
raw
cut.
stones out of
Yeah, yes,
okay.
They are not all of them are cut, but a majority of them are cut. There is also sorry,
no, go ahead.
I want to describe all the other treasures that
Yeah.
are there. So besides a sizable pile of gold, silver, and copper, and the gemstones that they're playing with, there is a small carved bone statue of what looks to be an orc with one eye, a gold bird cage with an electrum filigree, and a potion in a little leather sack. It's like a potion of like clouds.
Oh, that's a interesting game pieces you guys have.
They look up and they like look at you and freeze, and then the 7-year-old kind of just, yeah, well, nothing happens with them. They just kind of stay here. So we're like, why not mess with them, right?
Oh, anything that sits around for too long is just asking to be messed with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've always followed that line of logic.
Right. But we can't take him from this hole. That's what they said. It's from Big Daddy Arn. No, you cannot take him from this hole.
That's smart. It's a good place to keep this stuff.
Yeah. There was one guy.
So is this Big Daddy Arn stuff? Does he just keep it here?
No, it's all our stuff. Big Daddy Arn just he's our chieftain, so he has he says what we do with it. Yeah. If you have, I remember and like what this will be the one of the older Goliath children, the one that 12 kind of says in almost like a threatening voice, because he's a little bit more on edge with the fact that you're not a Goliath, and kind of just is like, yeah, I heard one time that Arn found somebody who had taken one of these stones, and he chopped their hand off, and then he made him give it back.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing they put you in charge over here to keep an
Well,
eye on everything.
yeah, since and he kind of like gestures to the wall, and so this little alcove right here, there is a nail and a brown kind of stain underneath it. There's no hand, but there's a nail with a brown stain, just kind of like in a little perch. I'm trying to click the map, but it's not clicking. Do you see that
Aha, yeah.
right there? That little out, that little jutting out. He kind of just points to that, and you
Nothing
can
there.
from what you can see, it looks like there was definitely something that decayed there.
Mm-hmm. Effective. Well, you've got me convinced. I guess I won't be touching this horde. Yeah, kidding. It's a joke.
None of them laugh. But the youngest one does invite you to play.
All right.
All right. So, what would you like to roll to dexterity, sleight of hand, athletics, as you flick one gemstone across to try to knock the other person's gemstone out of the circle?
I mean, I'll lobby for some sleight of hand,
Are you trying
like a
anything?
dexterity.
Are you trying anything in this with this sleight of hand roll?
I'm trying to win.
Fair enough. All right, roll.
Ooh.
The way the gemstone was cut kind of plays against, along with the rocky nature of the floor, plays against as your gemstone goes forward, maybe like a couple of inches before it takes a hard right, curve off to the right, and just clatters off outside of the circle. And they kind of snicker and laugh. They're like, "No, silly, not like that." And the
Tell
youngest,
me, it's tough. It's these things they bounce all over the place.
the younger one just kind of like grabs one, goes back to his side of the circle, puts it out. He's aiming off to the right a little bit, probably a little bit too far off to the right from what he's trying to go for. But he flicks the little gem. It bounces off a curve, goes high into the air, lands down almost perfectly on top of his target, knocking it a few inches. And he's like, just like that.
Oh my gosh. So you play the field as much as you're playing the actual
Silly.
lay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes he kind of looks, the older one, he looks back at him. The middle one has not talked yet, but the youngest one looks up at the older one. He's like, lowers his voice a little bit, like he's trying to tell you a secret, but it's very much like he just puts his hand up and still talks just as loud. One time I took some out, and the tunnel of stories, you'd probably have a better name for that. The passage of carvings. There we go. It's a very, very smooth floor there. And that earns him a smack on the back of the head from the 12-year-old. Who just restates that we're not supposed to take the gems out of the hole.
Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. So, so is this do y'all get new gyms to play with frequently, or is it just, is
No.
this it?
No. The youngest one kind of like, we haven't gotten any new toys since it started getting really cold when I was really young. I had to been like really young. Only 2 years ago, but
Long time. All right, well, I'm just going to play with them for a little bit longer and not really attempt to pump them for any more information.
Okay. Bete, I saw that you
Seems like the
walked.
tribe has some kind of horde, but it doesn't seem like they're doing nefarious things with it.
Yeah. Bete, I saw that you walked in here. Were you watching? Did you want to make it? Did you want to join in the interaction at all?
Beta just kind of watches. Would Beta have seen kids playing with these gems in the past, potentially?
Roll me a luck check. Because it is something they do, but I mean, you'd okay. Your choice. Have you or have you not?
I mean, is this something that they actually do?
It's not
Like
like a.
semi.
It's not like a. I mean, like playing with rocks in that.
Or at least would it seem not terribly out of the ordinary that they would that there would be these gems in it?
It
area
wouldn't
like
be
this.
terribly out of the ordinary for them to have the gems like that. You know that Sky Tower, just like Wormdon Crag, you know they get money from various things, whether it's trading with the with 10 towns, or from their past dealings with the orcs. You know, even Wormdon Crag has their own horde. But Sky Tower also doesn't do as much trading, so their horde would probably seem a bit larger because they aren't spending the money on anything. It's just kind of sitting there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, Beta just watches.
Just to give you a
Beta doesn't have overly much interest in cut gems as personally, so
then Dell's gonna telepathically send Bite some messages and just kind of a general like, hey, do you know about this? Is this weird? It seems weird.
Has Dell communicated with him telepathically in the past?
I think Rosemary's the only one I have done it with.
Yeah, I think it's been a while
Yeah,
too, because it happened.
Yeah, because Beta was watching you as you did it, and maybe would you have looked at him, or
Oh yeah, that's a
would
good.
you have looked at him before
Yeah,
or not?
I'll look over and make eye contact and just kind of raise an eyebrow as I'm asking the question telepathically.
Yeah. So when it comes through, Beta straight like jumps a little, like as though someone like loomed down over him and shouted from above him. He kind of like jerks down and looks up, and then looks back at Dell, slightly puzzled, and stands and just kind of stares. He doesn't respond at first unless you ask again.
Bite. Delta Bite. You can just think back. Just think thoughts, think words. We talked about this, right? We talked about this. No?
Beta thinking, did we talk about this?
It's come up. You know, when Rosemary first got she first got breed. I talked about it, but you know, it hasn't been experienced. It's look, I can see that you're a bit put off by this. There's nothing weird about it. Just hold on, it's my turn.
Beta waits patiently for him to take his turn.
You get it a lot better this time. Playing the field works out in your favor. You're able to kind of bounce it around and even get like a corner shot, so to speak. Doing a hard right hand angle to get one of the opponent's gemstones out of the circle.
Okay, anyways, I was saying, like, okay, I get they're up here. It's not like they just have a merchant or a trading post, but to have people in one room literally playing the Hunger Games while these kids are over here playing games with a pile of gold and gems is a little odd, right?
Beta thinks back at him. Oh yes, it seemed. Or sorry, I'm trying to decide if I should give Beta a different voice inside
His mental voice
inside
has a
his mind.
different accent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's me, Pete. This is how I think.
um, yeah. So Beta's internal voice is the same. It just has like a little more growl to all the sounds. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Beta replies,
Pite's I am Batman voice.
"Oh, I admit it is short-sighted and foolish to
Yeah.
not use this resource to feed their people, but you have to understand they are proud and isolationist by nature, so getting themselves to all agree to put resources towards it in a monetary sense rather than through proud hunting. A little
Well,
more difficult than one would normally accept."
I was gonna, I mean, maybe we can finesse it, but I was gonna think, maybe should we try to sell them some food? Like, we have that box of provisions that we were supposed to give to Macretus.
Ooh, Bitte. Roll me history. History, yeah. Roll me some history with advantage. Because I remember there was a time back when you were kind of like still walking and making runs through 10 towns where you were doing research on like trying to find jobs, right? To move money around or to move items around as for your shipping, right? Do you remember
Yeah.
this? So perhaps during
Mm.
that search, you might have found a merchant that was looking for a buyer for food when you were just trying to find somebody who already had a buyer and needed shipping, right? So yeah, 18. You kind of Del Nadre speaking on selling food, you have an idea there. You don't have like any like guaranteed contacts, but you know that people are looking for somebody to buy their food. Granted, at a higher price than usual, but still selling food.
Beta talk about, will mention that to Delsey. Actually, which town would this have been in?
That was I think Bryn Shander, was it not?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Beta will project to Dell.
Ooh,
I
that
do.
stuff's probably on the sled, which is not with us. Or wait, did we bring a sled? Is BJ dragging a sled?
No, I think we chained the sleds together.
Yeah, probably left those with the dogs. Shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Beta says, I do recall there was a merchant looking for buyers for their food in Bryn Shander. We may, as part of our entreaty, share that knowledge with Arn. Is my voice coming through okay? It's just
Yeah.
kind of a little lower and quiet on mine, so I wanted to make sure it was
Yeah, you're
audible.
good.
yeah, it's coming through well.
Cool.
It is an excellent voice.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Good enough for me.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's good enough for me, I say to the kids as I stand up and dust off my pants, the way you do. Thanks for letting me play. It was fun. All right, bye.
Slowly walking away and then just and bye. All right. So Rosemary, Levi, Rosemary, when they moved off into the communal cave, did you stay here? Did you go back and try to find Levi? Did you go to the north to this little to the stone that was sitting up there?
I do want to find Levi at some point, but probably I'm gonna investigate this stone
Okay.
first.
So the tunnel, the chute that you could like go down is kind of like it's almost like it's smooth around, but smooth down, but also has like little handholds that when you're going down, you could like slide down pretty quickly. It's a 10-foot drop that slightly curves, so it's easy to climb back up, but you can slide down.
Okay.
And as
Is there anyone like next to it that I could ask about it?
nobody is down there. The only people that are, if you were to move forward, so you can kind of just freely make your way into the
Like there, yeah.
go down some.
Down
'Cause it's-
some?
Sorry, go north some.
Oh. Oh, like into the thing?
Yeah. Don't you have dark vision?
I do, I think.
Can you see things? Is it showing things in like in a little?
Yeah, I was confused about the geography because there's like a little black line, so for some reason I was reading this part like behind it as like part of the wall.
Yeah.
I wasn't realizing that was like a horizontal area.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't because the light isn't really working there. So yes, yeah, you kind of drop down, and this is where we had described the 8-foot tall stone inscribed with runes. Now to the north more, this is one of this you can kind of see. Although the Goliath warriors they didn't look back, because the noises coming from above, from the feasting hall, kind of drone out any of the sounds that you took to just slowly go down the chute. But you can see that this is one of the tunnels that was blocked off from before. Not really blocked off, but they had Goliath guards standing in front of it.
Okay.
There's nobody directly in this in the room to answer any of your questions, but you could walk forward. You could also just kind of look at the stone a bit closer if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll examine the stone.
All right. So it roll me Arcana.
Arcana. Let me
Mhm.
see. 6. I'm having very bad rolls today.
Okay. So you've heard of like stones of power before. You know there's a true rune, like a true name for them, but you aren't quite sure what it is. But you can tell like by the depictions. Can you read Dwarvish?
Let's
Can
see.
Bree
Language.
can Bree read?
Common, Druidic, Halfling, Orc, Sylvan. Let me see what languages Bree has.
If she has Dwarvish, this might be an opportunity for her to help you.
She has Halfling, Orc, and Sylvan. I don't know why she has Orc.
Because of her time that she spent with the orc druid.
Oh, right, okay.
You probably would have taught her. It would have been like more of like a conversation, or like maybe just like phrases enough to get on, but not really enough to understand writing and stuff. But yeah, so you can't quite tell what is written on it, but there is some images that are used that kind of give a general display of victory and combat.
Okay.
So you aren't able to tell what the inscription says, but you do know, even roughly, that time spent around some of these stones can have some effects on you.
Okay. Interesting.
And Levi, I'm going to leave you there just for a moment, Rosemary. Levi, you had walked off to the gate again. What were you doing in that as you kind of walked out? Were you just kind of trying to,
Cooling down
yeah, just cooling down?
from his anger and his rage, as to like his rage in that like when he lets it control everything, like when he goes into his rage, I feel like that requires his own cooldown and also just sort of relaxing and trying not to be in an angry state anymore.
Mhm.
And so he's just been standing out here looking out over the clouds, and just sort of kind of trying to keep an ear out
Were
to
you
see if anything.
were you pacing out around at all as you walked
Yeah,
around,
probably just like, just like doing little.
doing little things? Okay. So
Yeah,
one of the
just sort of walking
eventually
around.
one of the Goliath warriors over here blocking off the north tunnel probably would have like stepped out and shouted down to you and just kind of like asked, "Hey, where's Gammon? What are you doing? You're out here, you're huffing, you're walking back and forth, you're puffing. What is happening here?
Is it illegal to walk?
Don't get snippy with me, man. What are you doing?
I'm cooling off.
Why? Why do you need to cool off? Did you did you lose at the rock competition?
I didn't lose, no.
Then what got you so angry?
In all honesty, I hate the rock competition in the first place. If you want the truth, I think it is pointless, and I think that your innate willingness to let the weak suffer while the strong persist is inherently wrong.
Hmm.
So, no, I held the rocks for 3 minutes, and then I filled up a bowl and I gave it to the person who came in last place.
Ah, strong in body but weak in heart. Got it.
Ha! Sure.
Look, you want to give handouts to everybody. That's great, right? But if you can't pull your own weight, then those who can need to ensure that they have the right sustenance, especially in times of. And he kind of just like shrugs, like, I don't know, times of war. We want everyone to be equal, bringing us down, or do we want to have our strong warriors ready to fight when they are needed? If you and your friends from Warndoom weren't to be so snippy with their hunting borders, it wouldn't be like this. So if you truly want us to talk about justness and fairness, I think you should look back on yourself and share a bit of your own prosperity.
He stops and looks and he says, I have just passed through Wormdoom Crag. I hold. I'm not from Wormdoom Crag. I am not even from the Icewind Dale. I have simply come here to help the people of the Dale through this long winter. I know it is tough. I have seen suffering, and I'm here to help alleviate it. So tell me, what could I do to help your clan?
He just looks at you and he asks, are you genuine here? Are you actually
Yes.
asking?
What could I do to help your clan?
Food. Just kind of like instantly, just flatly looks at you in the eye and says, food. Have you gone months, weeks, years, slowly eating less and less? Have you gone through the mental anguish, the stress that puts on a person? Have you
I was a
starved
soldier once in a losing front, yes.
and you starved for a year?
We went without for many months, yes.
Well, I'm glad that you got over that hurdle. See, we don't. And it sounds like you had to go to war to solve that issue.
That is not the issue that was at hand, but I see what you are saying. I think there are peaceful resolutions for many things.
We need food. We don't really want to give up anything. He kind of like, he takes the time, he slides down. He is, he wants to a bit, put some more distance from him and his ally. Maybe so he can speak a bit more freely. And he slides down a little ledge right here. And comes up close to you, Levi. We can't just, Wormdoom isn't going to just give us food. There's too much of a feud. Too many years spent hating each other to just turn the other cheek. Are you saying you're willing to help us get this food?
What would you say your clan has an abundance of? Everybody has an abundance of something.
On things that matter? Not much. No, we can barely even make new griffins. Our goat herds are thinning. Our resources of leather, skins, depleted. We have
All we have is this pile of children's toys.
he makes no mention of the horde at all, for sure. He just kind of says things that matter. We have nothing but our pride and our ferocity. And soldiers. We have so many warriors willing to fight.
I see. So you're willing to fight and kill to take food so that you may survive. Yes?
Yes.
At the expense of both your people and folks on the other side. Yes?
To ensure that we continue to live, we will fight and kill. We will bring
And
back
you feel
food.
that there is nothing in these caverns, either material goods or services or experience, that you may provide the folks of Wormdoom Crag in exchange for food. There is nothing here that they would even consider trading for food.
Yeah, we don't even have goats to make good goat balls anymore. We don't even have a... God, she kind of just like scratches his head and thinks, I can't even tell you the last time I actually played a game of goat ball. No, of the things that matter to us Goliaths, that matter to Sky Tower Shelter, that I would assume matter to Wormdoom Crag, I don't believe we have anything. Except spears to shove upon them.
And Levi nods and he sort of looks out over the expanse and he says, is anybody here good at goat ball?
Here, as in the Sky Tower Shelter?
Yeah, of course.
We, like I said, we haven't really played it in a while. I'd say about a year or two. Ever since the winter set in, we thought it wouldn't be good for us to be wasting energy on frivolous games. But, if my memory serves me correctly, we used to win against Wormdoom Crag quite often. In fact, although they claim to invent the game, I would say we are leading the overall score.
What if there was a way to peacefully end the feud?
Would we get food?
I think there would potentially be a way.
No,
to
no.
set
But
that up?
don't say it straight. Would we get food?
Sure.
And I can hold you to this. You are giving me your word.
I am giving you my word that I will facilitate a way that could give you food. However, it must go non-violently, and both sides will have to stick to their word. As closely as I will stick to mine. And he looks at it, he looks at the man and he says, "Do you know anything about the ASMR?"
No.
"Do you believe in the Diva and the Planetar?"
He kind of just like looks at you very quizzingly. He's like, the Planabar?
He nods and he says, "They
The Heba?
are celestials, angels."
Angels. Oh. We don't have very much time for faith. We put our faith in what is physical and what is here. We put our faith in our griffins and in my companions and my compatriots.
Levi nods and he says, "I understand this. I simply wish to give you my word as an ASMR that I will help your clan get food. I am not one to fight meaningless battles. I see people here are starving and you need help. And I wish to help you. But I will help you in my way, not in yours."
Well, I look forward to that. The day that you actually do help us, and you will have earned all of my trust.
And he smiles and nods, and he starts walking back into the cavern in search of Beta.
All right. Guard kind of like slowly makes his way back to his little post. All right, so Levi makes his way back in. Del Nadre and Vite are slowly making their way back in from the communal cave. You all notice that Rosemary is down in the cavern to the north. Rosemary, do you come back after like kind of looking at it, or are you spending more time there?
I want to like get a feel for like what this place is. Like, does someone or multiple people spend a lot of time here? Like, I know that the rock gives potentially abilities if you spend a lot of time near it, and I'd want to try to figure out if this is an equal opportunity thing or if this is just a place where uh what's his face hangs out. Arn hangs out only.
Do you want to go and talk to the Goliath warriors at the entrance at the mouth of the cave or the tunnel?
They gave us a dirty look when we approached from the other side, so I have a feeling I'm not actually supposed to be in here, so I feel like going up to ask them is not a great idea.
Do you want to go back and talk to the Goliath kind of around the food trough?
Sure, I'll do that.
All right, so we'll just put you right back over here. So, Bitte, Levi, you guys all come back around. Del and Andre as well. As you see Rosemary crawling up and going to talk to the one Goliath that had spoken to you all at dinner, or Bitte, the one that had kind of like come over and had kind of just been talking to you guys. And Rosemary, he kind of like he sees you come out and he's like, "Oh, I see you found our strength, the stone of strength and honor."
Yeah, I was curious about that. What can you tell me about it?
It's one of our 2 rituals that we do every time we are setting out onto the on a hunt, on a trek, vacation. Really, anytime we leave Sky Tower, you make sure you stop by. Some value only the strength and the honor. Others value also the mind and the spirit. If You pray, focus. When you are within, in that little cave, you can age yourself the next day. We've even
Okay.
heard of some who have focused so strongly on a single moment and a potential moment in the future that they were able to manifest such powers days to weeks into the future.
Interesting. So that's fun. We'll have to check that out before we leave.
Yes. It is not generally open to outsiders. That said, however many people utilize the stone doesn't seem to have an effect on its power. So there is no actual harm in you using the stone.
Does
But
everyone here get an equal chance to use it?
those who need to do, but it is not wasted. There's no point to have strength and honor if you were just walking down to the edge of the, kind of like pathway to grab a letter from the mailman.
But anyone who wants to use it or needs it in the moment is welcome to.
Of course, yes. We are
Okay.
only stringent with our food as it is necessary.
I understand the rationale, though I think it might be potentially misguided. I think letting the weak get weaker, eventually all will be weak, as opposed to strength together in numbers.
Well, the hope is that it will not come to that. Eventually, we will find ourselves with either more hunting grounds or, well, we'll have found a victorious death.
We shall see.
All right. Well, Delnadre, Levi, Rosemary, Bitte, is there anything else y'all would like to do in this area of the cave? Or would you like to go back up to the front? Or would you like to just wait it out until Arn comes?
So is there like somewhere we can stay, or should we be setting up our tent?
You could stay. You'll have an empty bedroll, but you could put your bedroll. You kind of gesture to the communal cave where the kids are playing with the gemstones. You just kind of lay your stuff down and sleep with all of us if you wish. Or you can continue to camp out in the steps.
Levi stops and he looks at the dude and he says, "The children are playing with what?"
The gemstones.
What gemstones?
You
Oh
have
yeah, they've got
gemstones?
they've got like a pile of like gold and gems back there.
And you're not using it to buy food. Why?
Kind of just looks at you and he says, "Because it's not our way. We have very little use for that stuff, but we do recognize its value to other races, so we keep some on hand."
And you could be using it to trade for food.
If the people of Ten Town truly knew how much we had, it would invite too much attention to our town. We've never wanted to be open with trade such as Wormdoon Crag was in the past.
Have you considered that your lack of food stems from the location that you live in? Your inability to grow and maintain your herds leads to you needing to use other things to purchase food?
These are our ancestral homes. Just because they
I'm not
become...
saying you should move, I'm saying you have an abundance of money, and you should use that to trade for food.
We never had an issue with this prior to the increase in deadly winter.
But you're
And I
having an issue with
understand
it
that.
now, so you should change your thought process, perhaps, in order to prevent your people from starving.
Look,
When the world changes, you must evolve with it,
it's not our
or
decision.
you will be left behind.
We don't. We don't
Is this
control. But I agree.
Is this a conversation to be brought up with Arn when we
yes,
talk with him tomorrow?
You are welcome to speak with Arn, but the general statement from all the Sky Tower shelter is even though we could solve our issue, we don't grow that hoard. I don't mean the pile, their treasure. It's it would just be a depleting. We would just deplete it, never really truly understanding if we're getting a good price. It could even be forcibly taken. Assassins that come in the night to slit the throats of our children, of our family, for these precious gems. The way of the Goliath people is not that. We will suffer and become stronger through the suffering. We will live and die by the land that we have.
Levi just sort of nods, and he gets it. He's been around stubborn people before, but now he's just sort of learning more and more about the way that the folks here wish to do things.
Dell is
Raspberry
just
just kind of like
visibly
gives the others.
cringing.
Huh?
What?
So Dell is just visibly cringing. Like, oh, okay.
Del, you spent some time there. Do you want to accurately guess the size of their hoard?
Sure.
Roll me intelligence.
You not good.
All right, so you guess they had to have had somewhere between 200 to 500 gold pieces, well more than 1,000 silver pieces, and well more than double that in copper. They had about 20 gemstones that they were playing with in the game. Didn't really quite do anything else, but you did notice one of them was a quite well done amethyst. And then you recognize that the bird cage and the orc statue and the potion all had their own values as well. But that part of the question.
Look, I get it. No, I don't. I don't get it. I understand that you get it, but I'm just gonna guess here. You guys have got enough money back there to probably feed the whole village for at least a year.
And even
But
if you don't use it to just buy food, you could use it to replenish your goat herds. You could use it to find ways to make a sustainable food source.
Kind of just looks.
like,
Yeah, go on.
if you need help with money, I'm happy to assist. Give you an idea of what you've actually got and what it's worth. And then the people of Wormdune do have a better connection with the traders. I'm sure there are people down there who would be more than willing to trade on your behalf for a small fee. But that still, you could trust that they would know that you're not getting screwed over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Vite kind of does that already for a living.
Right. Vite, do you chime in here?
Yeah, so Beta doesn't particularly see a point in having this conversation just with a regular person instead of Arn himself. So Beta just kind of lets them talk it through. being a little more familiar with their ways and a little less inclined to expect to convince your regular citizen to latch on to the discussion.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, maybe it's a conversation we should wait to have with Arm when he gets back.
Yeah, it's at least good to start fleshing out some ideas and get like a public opinion, like at least gauge what public opinion would be. But this is definitely a conversation we need to have with Arn.
Yeah. The Goliath would probably just make a quick comment, just like, yeah, I mean, like you said, like I said, I'm just I don't really have a control over what they say and what they do with the money. Outside of Arn, you could talk to his mother, but she's been blind for a number of years, so I don't think she really bothers with anything that she can't quite see. Great storyteller, but not quite the best money counter. However, Herod, Arn's husband, would definitely be somebody you could talk to and would have an ear of the chieftain. I said Herod. It's Harad.
Harad the husband.
Harad the husband.
Well, maybe that's a start. We've got some time to kill. Go see how Harad's doing.
Yeah, Harad, and what was Arn's mother?
He just said Arn's mother. He didn't say her name. Would you like to
Okay.
ask for her name?
Sure.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah. Let me flip my page here.
Get that info.
Yeah, Kanayaka. So Kaniaka.
Oh, I thought it was the Homestuck spelling.
Yeah, yes, of course. Our chieftain's wife looks down at her writing on a hand. Or our
Kanaya.
chieftain's mother.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll go talk with them. Yeah, because I imagine we have some time to kill. That was like supposed to be breakfast.
Yeah, so it's
And
still.
we have like all day.
I'd say it's about midday by now. After the contest, after walking around a little bit, after taking some more time to talk, and yeah, so about midday or so, you all make your way up towards the top, back up to the steps, they like to call it. And as you walk forward, Levi, you had taken some time to spend speaking with the Goliath warrior here on the left.
Mm-hmm.
When you were cooling off, and he kind of looks at you and a bit more open of and willing to. Oh Jesus! Sorry, cat. Oh God!
You okay?
I stepped on his tail, and
Oh, no.
he then got me in the leg.
Oof.
And I felt bad because I was stepping to push myself up, and so I kind of pushed down hard on his leg, or his tail. I said leg, I meant tail. Anyways, he got me on the leg, but I do feel bad about it. He's okay though. He didn't scream. He just bit the shit.
You're just scary.
Spit the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anywho, the guard that was talking with you kind of looks a bit more friendly than the last time you had the whole group had stood in front of these guards. And for just to save time, we're gonna go ahead and end the session right there.
Okay.
Oh.
That's a good little segue. Don't want to get in on anything before we get off to the next session, but we will cover the last little bit of introductions across Sky Tower Shelter, and then we'll have Arn speed things along with the ending of the feud or intensifying of the feud, depending on how things go, and then get to finally move on to solving the growing problem in Levi's stomach. I
Yep.
hope y'all.
It's coming up, huh?
It's coming up. It's almost here.
Is he showing
Yeah,
by now?
that's a good question. I don't think it's growing that much in the egg. It made it more seem
Yeah,
like the
it's still like a
slod,
magical thing.
the
Yeah.
the slod grows exponentially once it comes out. Which I guess is the same thing about the chest burster.
Yeah, it's a gestation period, so it's like, and it lives like in your right under your rib cage, not like in your stomach. Um, and so
So
it
if he
like
was showing,
it
it would
it
look weird.
it grows a little bit until it's like sucked up enough life force, basically, and then once it has enough life force, it bursts out of the chest and then rapidly grows once it comes out by eating shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yep.
Typically starts with the host, and then anybody that
Mhm.
was near the host, and then anything that's living and breathing in the area.
Yeah.
Lovely. So yeah, that's coming
It's
up.
good. It's good stuff.
That is coming up on Everybody's a Mimic. We are an actual play 5th edition webcast playing Rime of the Frostmaiden, or Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. I am your host, Corey, as the Dungeon Master. I was joined by all 4 of our players, starting first off with, in reverse order this time, Ben,
Hi, that's me. I play Levi. Yay!
and then followed by Rachel,
I play Rosemary.
and then Carson,
Playing Beat the Yetimated Unlekalaga.
and finally Blake.
The voice of Del Nadre Miracos.
And thank you all for listening, for watching, and for subscribing or following along. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.